Hi, I'm Freeman on the land, Robert Arthur of the Menard family. Imagine a bureaucracy who is willing to disregard the Criminal Code of Canada in order to exercise what they feel is their authority granted under a provincial statute. Imagine a bureaucracy that believes they have the power to force you to attend their court and to provide personal documents just so they can investigate to see if a crime has been committed. Imagine a bureaucracy that states their duty is to protect you, the investor, and in order to do so, they create a regulation that states in order to be an investor, you must have $1 million in the bank to play with. Are they actually protecting you from investing, or are they protecting their investor buddies from stopping you from investing? Hello.
Is this Rob?
Yes, it is.
It's Scott Peacock.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
Good.
I'm calling from Vancouver. How's the weather out there out east?
Well, it changed from snow to rain, and it's going to be kind of miserable and wet and soggy. So very much like Vancouver, I would say.
Oh, you gotta love them oceans for that, eh?
Keeps it temperate.
Yeah, it sure does. I got family out there in Antigonish. I'm looking at maybe heading out that way this summer.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully it'll be nicer by then. What I'm calling about, I'm acting as an agent for some people by the name of Garth Spinagle and Norma Spinagle and their son Quentin. Are you familiar with that case at all? I'm wondering, I'm a free man on the land. I've helped people out here with the British Columbia Securities Commission with a number of cases. And you guys, you do respect the Criminal Code of Canada, do you not?
Well, I operate under the Securities Act.
But you are bound by the Criminal Code. I mean, you're not allowed to, there's nothing in that Securities Act that frees you from the Criminal Code. For instance, say extortion or fraud or assault or anything like that. You certainly, there's nothing in the Securities Act that empowers you to engage in those actions. Is that not correct?
No, that'd be correct, I'd say, yeah.
What I do is I teach people how to establish lawful excuse to disobey courts and statutes using the Criminal Code of Canada. Now, one of the things that I have found is that the Securities Commission, and I noticed the same thing in deconstructing the Nova Scotia Securities Act, is that you state that you have as much authority as the Supreme Court does to compel attendance or ensure performance. Is that correct?
Well, I'm listening to you.
Well, if we're not in agreement, then we should stop there and figure out what we are in agreement, because I read the Securities Act and it states that you have the exact same amount of authority to compel as does the Supreme Court. What I noticed, however, and I've noticed this in all the Securities Commission's acts that I have deconstructed, is that they don't say we have this authority, they just say we have as much authority as that second party. So what we have done in order to establish how much authority you have is we bring action against the Supreme Court using a notary public, and we establish, because I've deconstructed the Judicature Act as well, and according to the Supreme Court, the only people that they can compel to either attend or to perform are people who are employed by the provincial and federal governments. So if if the Securities Commission points to the Supreme Court and says we have as much power as they do, and then we go to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court states, no, we actually do not have the power to compel you, then I'm expecting that you would accept that you don't have the power to compel these people either.
What's your last name, Rob?
What do you think it is?
I have no idea.
My family name, actually, I don't have a last name being a free man on the land, but my family name is Menard, M-E-N-A-R-D. My website is thinkfree.ca if you'd like to check it out. And I've got a couple of videos on Google. One is called Bursting Bubbles of Government Deception, and the other is called The Magnificent Deception. And well, I am going to be traveling out east extensively this summer, putting on a series of shows called With Lawful Excuse. And I teach people how to use a claim of right to establish lawful excuse to disobey the court before you even get to the court. Pretty
Very interesting.
Isn't it?
Yep, so what's your next point?
Well, my next point is I'm wondering what can be done with Garth and Norma in regards to this, because, anyone can go out and be an activist and just point fingers and cause trouble. I try to find peace and try to find a resolution to the issues. So I'm wondering, their concerns are that they are being abused merely to get to their son in order to force them to testify against their son or whatnot.
And how is it they're being abused?
Well, according to them, there was this has gone through a number of people, and they said that it wasn't. A couple of judges threw it out. I don't have their paperwork in front of me right now, unfortunately, but they said that it went through a couple of judges. They refused to do it, and then one of your investigators, what's his name, Abel Lazarus, I believe. They said that he's the one who seems to be pushing it, and that he seems to have a bit of an issue with them per se. Perhaps because, I don't know, I don't want to point fingers or whatnot, but I know that sometimes people who have been given authority, if you start questioning it, a lot of times their immediate response is just to come out heavy-handed, just to try to establish that they do have the authority. So what I'm wondering is how is it really in the best interest of the public, since that is your mandate, to go after these people in this format and in this manner? And if not, maybe we can work something out, because oftentimes, just having a little chat before things get to the point where conflict, I believe in the rule of law very strongly, and I believe conflict is avoidable, it's unnecessary, it's undesirable, and we should use discussion and negotiation to settle it before it even gets to an adjudication proceeding.
Well, we'll just proceed along in due process under the Securities Act, and we'll ultimately get to a resolution.
Okay, well, I should give you fair warning then. I will be sending out a letter to you and to your boss, to the entire commission, and to the Supreme Court, or to the people in charge or playing in there anyways. And we will be serving a notice of understanding and intent and a claim of right. We will establish lawful excuse to disobey that court and the Securities Act. And any and all property held by Garth and Norma and their son will be held under a claim of right as per Section 39 of the Criminal Code. And it is our intent to publish this, we think the public should know about government bureaucracies who act outside of their mandate or with ignorance towards the meaning of the words in their mandate.
Well, I look forward to receipt of a copy.
Well, thank you very much. You have a great day.
You too.
The other thing I don't like about what they do is they say, oh, I'm acting under this act. Ask them what the word act means, and they don't want to tell you. There's a reason for that. They also will claim that this act gives them power over you, but you won't find your name anywhere in that act. They will refer to persons and not human beings, and then they will operate on the assumption that you are a person. What I really dislike about the way these security commission people engage in their action is they claim a lot of authority and they use bully tactics. They claim that they have as much power as the Supreme Court does to compel people to attend and produce documents. They don't claim the power to compel, they just say we have as much power as that party over there. The question is, how much power does that party over there have to compel you to either attend or perform or produce? That's what we're going to address. We're going to look at exactly how much power they in fact do have. If they don't have the power to compel you to attend their court or to produce documents for them, then the Nova Scotia Securities Commission is telling you that neither do they. They don't come out and say, we have the power to compel you. What they do is they come out and they say, we have as much power to compel you as some other party. That other party, well, we have to figure out now how much power they have.